another one bites the dust. And in this case, this same person bites the dust yet again. And what I mean by another one bites the dust, we keep seeing these people who are very good, have been good for decades. Bernie Sanders is another one. And then in their later years, or I don't know if it's because of their later years, but I'm just saying it happens to be in their later years, Bernie Sanders now, and also Nader, they start to waffle. They don't stick to their, what you would think is their beliefs. They're not as strict with their policy beliefs, I would say. Maybe that's the best way to say it. And Ralph Nader is just another example. So let's get through this quick story here. This is Ralph Nader, and this tweet here says Ralph Nader became a hack for the DNC, and this is what he's talking about. The Washington Post, and I can't bring up the article because it just brings up where you have to be a member. So I have a different article we'll bring up, but here's the Washington Post headline. Ralph Nader, the political firebrand, long estranged from Democrats, fears fascism will be on the ballot in 2024, and it must be defeated, a.k.a. he is going for Joe Biden. It says down here, Ralph Nader, wary of Trump, offers to help Joe Biden. It was Noam Chomsky. We had Bernie Sanders. Now we got Ralph Nader. And this is what Sabby says about that. She says he was praising Democrats a few months ago. He was praising Democrats a few months ago, had a feeling this was coming. Ralph should be supporting third party or independent candidates. And I could not agree more with my RBN sister, Sabby. And let's even back out even more to some more comments. And then Ajamu Baraka, who is an elder to us, and we consider him an elder here on RBN, along with Margaret Kimberly. This is what Ajamu Baraka has to say about all of this. Now, understand, Ralph Nader ran as a Green Party. He ran as a Green Party. He knows Ralph Nader, of course. But here he says this. The narrative that neoliberal Democrats are a counter to fascism is a dangerous fiction that mystifies real driving force of fascism. Right-wing neoliberals who actually control the state and are consolidating, merging of state and corporate power are imposing ideological conformity. So happy our elders, or the people that RBN considers elders, like the Margaret Kimberleys and the Jamu Barakas, haven't turned over in fear of fascism. This part right here, he's spot on. The narrative that neoliberal Democrats are a counter to fascism is a dangerous fiction that mystifies real driving force of fascism. And it kind of is a stronger version, what he's saying here, of what Dr. Cornel West says. And that why he's even now not part of the anti-Trump movement to stop him in supporting Joe Biden. Now he's saying third party. He's saying that's not good enough. Neoliberalism as an answer to fascism is not good enough. In the way that Dr. Cornel West, which I love how he says it, he says that's just a holding place for fascism. That's all that neoliberalism does. So yeah, he makes a great point here. But anyway, let's get to the article, and then we'll close out on this story, or short segment, I should say. And here is the article on Nader's unfortunate shift. This is from Newsmax. Ralph Nader stumps for one-time foe Joe Biden. Consumer advocate Ralph Nader still recalls Joe Biden speaking out to banish him from the Senate 23 years ago, but Nader is now working to help Biden get reelected as president, even if there will not be a formal endorsement, because Nader said former President Donald Trump should not return to the White House. Quote, "We are stuck with Biden now," end quote. No, we're not, Nader. But that's what Nader says. 89 told the Washington Post, quote, in a two-party duopoly, if one should be defeated ferociously, the logic is that the other one prevails. Nader remembers being blamed by Biden, then a senator, for Democrat Al Gore's loss to Republican George W. Bush in the 2000 presidential race. Quote, "Ralph Nader is not going to be welcome anywhere near the corridors, end quote. Biden said after Nader's Green Party presidential campaign received 97,000 votes in Florida. Before that, Nader had been considered a policy genius, but after Biden's declaration, the Democrats parted ways with him. Nader no longer refers to Republicans and Democrats as Tweedledee and Tweedledum, but he said the Republican Party is behind the architecture of fascism. Now, Ajamu Baraka says that the Democratic Party is at the forefront of the cutting edge of fascism. Here's a quote. I know the difference between fascism and autocracy or autocracy, and I'll take autocracy anytime, Nader told the Post. Quote, fascism is what the GOP is the architect of, and autocracy, is what the Democrats are practitioners of. But autocracy, leaves out openings. They don't suppress votes. They don't suppress free speech. Really? Are we not seeing Joe Biden and Democrats suppress votes? Isn't that what taking the Green Party off of ballots? Isn't that what that's doing? Isn't suppressing the primaries and not having primaries, isn't that suppressing votes, Nader? And suppressing free speech, have you heard of the Twitter files, Nader? Nader dismisses the chances that the Green Party can have an impact on the 2024 race, despite praises for its likely candidate, Cornel West. Nader also doesn't think much of the chances for Biden challenger RFK Jr., who campaigns on some Nader's issues, calling him a wayward talent who can't get out of his own way. Man, I would actually say that about you, Mr. Ralph Nader. Just terrible, but it just goes to show you when the going gets tough, the professional managerial class, some of them just don't have the stomach